Don't even play with me. Get the... Oh my God, I got a KO from the top. Oh, what a hit! Hold on, wrong play. Hold on, let me get the right play here. What the heck is this? Dang it, why can't we get the proper intro going? Let's get the right one going here. Mike the Ref Maloney, Big Bad Boris on the call here tonight. Let's go! Let's go! Third! Let the Super Kick Party! Yeah, pay the money for that. No one. And of course, you're gonna get the coffin spin. That's better. Hey, yo, yo, and away we go. Happy Saturday night to one and all here. Hey, Jay Quick. Good to see you here on the chat tonight for a little AEW Collision. Been a little crazy week. I'll tell you that. I think that's the politest way of putting it. It's been a very crazy week for a lot of people. It's been a very crazy week for us in general here. Sorry, I thought I heard somebody coming in. I'm like, what? I live alone. Anyway, we got a hell of an edition of Collision going on just to relax the brain and just enjoy all things wrestling that's been coming up. Yeah, congrats to WWE Women main roster getting a mid-card title. I personally, if Chelsea could get it, it would be absolutely amazing. I think somebody like a Mia Yim getting it would be amazing. I just want to see what they're going to do to produce the like they didn't mention a tournament, they didn't mention a match, they didn't mention a battle royal. So the more I think about it, the more likely Nia forces Tiffany to cash in on that new title and just say, "Look, it's mine." And then she's got to defend it right away. So I'd almost guarantee that Raw's going to get one on Monday. If SmackDown gets one on Friday, Aldis is going to, or Pierce is going to say, "No, Aldis, you do not get one up on me." And there'll be a Intercontinental Championship for Raw. Hey, Eric, how you doing today? Hope you're doing well. Hope everybody's doing well. This is going to be a fun night tonight. It's also going to be interesting to see what happens now because I've heard the stories. I've heard this is a very good episode of Collision. This is the first one taped we've had in 3 weeks. As the audio's kicking in on the video. If you guys are watching in Canada, it's on TSN Plus. If you're watching in the States, it's on TNT. This should be a fun card. Main event for the Trios title tonight with the Death Riders, who have been named specifically that now, versus the Conglomeration, which seems like a little bit forced. Not that I really mind. Like, hell, half the time when you put stuff on AEW, it's forced. 3 stream watch streak. Thank you, Jay Quick. Oh, we're getting... this match was, I think, specifically put in due to all the scuttlebutt that we had. Even we were questioning it a little bit. When Adam Cole was giving Malachi Black his flowers, and it just felt like such a weird finish. Malachi Black had to actually come out on Instagram and say, no, if I'm leaving, I will tell you. Mox told Lumino he's sending one of his guys January 5th. That doesn't surprise me either. I'm glad that they're helping push that card. And they're doing it relatively early. The winningest trio in AEW history. I think it's the only trio that's actually stayed a trio for most of the time. But once again, everybody, thank you for stopping by here. I truly do appreciate you. Let me go over the card while we're hanging out, getting ready for everybody to come in. The Iron Savages and Jack James are the opponents, by the way, which means this will be a mildly competitive matchup, I think is the best way to put it. Tonight we got the Beast Mortos versus Roderick Strong. Really wondering how much Roderick's going to bring out to... Uh-oh. Okay, first of all, House of Black has to beat FTR. Yeah, this ain't gonna be much. But I'll get to your thought in a second here, Eric. I wonder what's going on, but we also got the Outrunners versus Top Flight for a spot in that four-way contenders match that they were talking about. And then our main event's going to be Pac, Wheeler, Yuta, and Claudio versus Briscoe, O'Reilly, and Ishii for the trios titles, which it'd be interesting to see if they change it. We're going to get Nick Wayne, AR Fox. I didn't mention that one. And then Chris Statlander's got a match. So, yeah, we're going to have to see what Statlander's got after nearly being run over. Thank goodness she wasn't in the parking lot. Oh, goody, Savage Sauce. That's going to do nothing. Eric, they're doing 2 tapings next week. I don't know exactly what's going on with that. Putting Mercedes on the hood, yeah. Like, it would be interesting to see what they're going to do with that setup with that. But yeah, I know it's Veterans Day tomorrow or on Monday down in the States, but I don't know what's going on the week after. They could be having something coming up. But here's the thing. AEW fans, we're getting used to this pre-tape stuff. WWE's going to have to. Might be a UFC next Monday night. Yeah, but that wouldn't... Maybe. I'm just trying to think, would that really affect much? Which I understand that you gotta... In terms of attendance, it might be a little faulty, but... Oh, God, that sucked. And that pile driver Randy Orton took was... I've said this in a few places that have asked me about it. Oh, there is a UFC fight next week. It's weird that it's on a Monday, but... All right. But fans are going to have to get used to the pre-tape that AEW fans are used to. Because, yeah, this was taped on Thursday here. Well, Black Mass is done. Goldberg be jealous. Oh, God. Oh, UFC's next Saturday. Okay. That's what I thought. No, I was, but why would they worry about the Monday? That's all. Must be something going on that they need next Monday off, which I'm sure SRS is going to let us know about. Oh yeah, this was out. This was, I'd say time wise about what I expected. Maybe, possibly maybe 3 minutes or too much. Oh, next Friday, Jake Paul is the dead man. I'll be on call, so I don't know if I'm going to watch it on call at work, but I do find it funny that Jake Paul thinks that he's going to be able to meet up with a guy like with Mike Tyson. Like, it's fine. So FTR literally drops a bomb. Yeah. Wednesday is House of Black versus FTR. Winners get into the four-way to take on Private Party. Like, we already got one spot going on up for stakes tonight with the Outrunners versus Top Flight. Coming piece of what? Uh-huh. He wants to know who the two are, and he's not going to say a word. Okay. Yeah, they're right. Like, these two teams were fundamentally a big part of Collision when it started. I think that's the question they're going to be asking right now, Jay Quick. Brody and Malachi. Oh. Oh, so they did officially do the signing of Swerve and Bobby? Duh. Captain Obvious, I think is the best way to put that. Leo's getting picked on. What shift are you on? The night shift, the day shift? Are you going to actually use it, or are you going to... Okay. My man. Leo. Oh. Okay. What? Swerve versus Leo? That'll be a little bit of fun. Still think he's gonna get absolutely kicked, but... Hey, Mr. Zodiac, how you doing tonight? We've already had our first match of the night with the House of Black taking on the Iron Savages and Jack Jameson. Half-Life 2 is fun. Nice. So next Saturday we get LF5 versus The Acclaimed. Also, Private Party's got out a promo here. No? Or are they just going to be sitting at ringside? But yeah, Half-Life 2? Heard a lot of good things. I'm really hoping that, I can... I'm hoping that in the new year here, a lot of time opens up for me here for gaming. I might try to find a way to sneak in a 5th day. Because right now we're running Mondays and Thursdays for gaming on top of Wednesdays and Saturdays. Joining us for Collision and Rampage, or Collision and Dynamite. We're also going to have to see what the landscape settles into. Leo may lose unless... I think that match totally just runs its... I think it just totally runs its way out. Like, I think it gets thrown out. Bobby comes in and just wrecks everybody. Now, do the Outrunners win this? Folks, have you ever seen a flight attendant look like that? And I'm not talking about those in those certain movies that you frequent quite a bit here sometimes. But I'd like to see if Top Flight will actually make their... I want to see if that full heel turn happens here. Because it's almost like Darius wants to and Dante doesn't. I would love to see FTR, the Outrunners, Private Party, and I guess in that case you would throw off LFI in there. You know what? I don't care what happens. It is so awesome to see what the Outrunners have done so far. And I really do hope that they get their shot here. Because it's almost like you don't want to expunge this over a little bit too long. Because if you're not going to pay it off soon enough, you're going to run into some issues, right? Well, Shivani talking about the 80s were great. Wasn't he in like his mid-50s in the 80s? Sorry, I had to get one in there. But once again, everybody, thank you for stopping by here. I appreciate each and every one of you. For those watching on YouTube, once again, if you can, do me a solid and just hit that thumbs up. Helps us get more people in here, and the more people that we get in here, more people we get chatting, the better atmosphere we get. Shivani was in his 70s and his 80s. I'll give you that one. It's funny, I got a cashier at work that I tell her that, you know how everybody's got nine digits of their social security? Yeah, she's the number 9. That's it. Well, I don't know how many social security numbers you guys have in the States. In Canada, it's 9 digits. Do you think Tony was as good as old WWE? I don't think so. For the mere fact that he didn't get a chance to... he didn't really get a chance to explore the way that he'd like, I think. He really... Once he got into WCW, he was able to expand a little bit more, be himself a little bit more. And I think that's the biggest thing you find when it comes to... Well, hell... Look at what happened to Michael Cole now that he doesn't have anybody cramming down his ear every 5 seconds. He has a lot of annoying parts, but those annoying parts are annoying necessities. Gonna go to Canada, commit social security fraud. Well, by the time our election's done, we won't have a pension either, so don't even worry about it. Vince said he was too Southern. Yeah, like... And that's why many of the commentators for WCW, that's how Eric Bischoff got in. When's our next election? Here's the thing, Zodiac, we don't have fixed elections. They have to call them once every 4 years. But the government in power gets to pick when that is. They got to give like 4 to 8 weeks notice, and yeah, they call it whenever they want. It really is a power play for the guys that are already in there, but... There's a rumor that Bruce Pritchard, Michael Hayes are out of leave. It's not a rumor. It's a fact. They've openly admitted they are on a leave of absence right now. And they're not giving a reason for it. They say that Pritchard will probably be back before Hayes will. But they're both expected back. So I wouldn't read too much into it right now. Of course, being expected to come back and actually coming back are two totally different things. Oh, before I forget, and this is actually really important for you guys, if you get a chance, go check out Indy Hartwell's YouTube channel. I'll see quickly if I can get a link to it as we get moving here. Here we are. I'll get the clip for you. I will throw it into both chats right now. Do yourself a favor. Go check it out later. Give her a subscription. They're free. Like same thing with our channel. If you like what you see in here, Please subscribe to the channel to let you know every time we're dropping a video. We got some New Japan coverage coming up next week, as well as a pretty big tribute show that happened here in Edmonton last night. One of our very close members of the community passed away here in the Viking Lord Vince Austin. He of the infamous Fork Gate, if you've ever been here for the story. As we get back into regular here. It's the first time that I actually saw it. Yeah, like you said, expect it to be back, actually coming back are two different things. Absolutely. There's a chance that... Sad. Well, you know what? It's not the... Here's the thing. And this is something I've said no matter what happens. And let's face it, for a lot of people, this week was a very sad week for them. We don't need to get into politics a whole lot here and political beliefs. Some people agree with what happened. Some people disagree. Everybody has their own opinion. But the one thing you have to do is take a sad position and make it a better one. And that's exactly what Indy says in that video. So do her a favor. Give her a subscribe. The more subscriptions she gets, the more videos that are watched, the more money she could get out of it. I'll be frank. World's still turning. It's just how are you going to interact while you're in it? I love Nigel. He's like, oh, it's not 1984. Would love to see Indian AEW. Absolutely. I'm telling it right now, and we talked about it before, and I'll call it again. February 15th, Grand Slam Australia. You debut Indy there. The pop in the stadium might actually explode it. But what I would almost like to see is one of the Casino Gauntlet matches that AEW does for the men. Do it for the women. You got enough. And if you want to put it for Mercedes' title instead of Mariah's, because you got Tony and Mariah probably, if not the main event, then damn well close. Nigel, a good heel. Yeah, like, one thing, ever since Danielson left, he's turned into a good heel that isn't afraid to be a face. Like, I think Bobby Heenan did a lot of good work with that. Back when he was working in WCW especially. Like, he's a heel, but at the same time, he'll put over somebody if they're good. And it's a fundamental thing a lot of people forget in wrestling. You don't run down everybody that you have involved in your matchups. Because the more you run them down, the less impact there is about beating them. And that's promo 101. You do not run your opponent down. You pump up your opponent and then make it sound like when you beat him, you beat somebody credible. Heenan's best work was his hatred for Hogan when he joined NWO. I don't know about that. I actually like his work at WWE against Hogan. Because I will say, in the Golden Era, the biggest feud that I felt was there, it wasn't Hogan Andre, it wasn't Hogan Savage, it wasn't Honky Tonk and Well, good taste, but anyway. It was Hulk Hogan and Bobby Heenan. Two guys that would very rarely ever touch. Probably had the biggest feud in the 80s. What do you guys think? If you were around. How come Bobby left WWF in 93 and was fired? It was legit firing. Just like... Total Recall gets it. Let's go. Private Party versus the Outrunners. You had to pull the trigger on them sometime, and I'm glad they're doing it here. But now, Top Flight. What do you do with them? I don't see Top Flight out there. They might have just buggered off. I'd almost like to see them turn heel on the Outrunners. But you probably don't want to do that as a surprise to everybody here. That very well could have been the interesting part about, like somebody, I was hearing some posts about, just, you got to realize things are interesting tonight. Which, that might be the case, what happened there. But yeah, seeing the Outrunners move on into the four-way here at Full Gear. Which really, Full Gear, we've only had a few matches in there, so. Plus, the Attack the Outrunners, they would Private Party would have ran off Top Flight. That also makes sense as well. That actually, yeah, if you're putting everything together, I think you're going to see Top Flight do a heel turn, but it's just, you got to find out when. And with the fact that the Infantry just did it in ROH, I know Tony doesn't, I know he's supposed to be booking those separately, but let's face it, in many ways he doesn't. In many ways, both products mirror each other, just at different scales. But yeah, what we're going to get out of the four-way is going to be interesting. And the fact that they're slowly building up the card for Full Gear, I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like what? We got Orange and Mox. We got Swerve and Lashley, which was announced officially tonight. You got Stat Mercedes. You got the four-way. You got that YouTuber versus QT Marshall during the pre-show, which, by the way, I think is absolutely a great idea because, well, it's the same reason why you bring in a guy like Trent Shaw for our 2K run through on MyGM, which you can watch after we're done here on Collision exclusively over on the Twitch channel. You bring in somebody who will get a lot of eyes on your product. You will be able to you'll be able to do some Freebird things. You will be able to do a lot of exciting stuff and whatnot. But let's get to the elephant in the room here in terms of online stuff that's just driving me nuts here. Do you guys have any thoughts about NXT beating out Dynamite this week? Because I have some thoughts about it, but I'd like to see what your guys' are first before. Apparently, it was about 100,000 people difference for NXT over AEW. All right, I'll just throw it out there right now. I personally could care less. People are like, I was listening to Busted Over Radio earlier this week. Yes, I know. I'm sorry. Uh-oh. It's Mortos and Roosh? Okay. I love MVP. Oh, MVP work. I'd love to see Lashley take on Bowens just to see the reaction, how everything goes on. Yeah, that WCW pack looks really good. I'll be honest, I would get it mainly for the ring as well as the ring and Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. I do find it funny that they had to use the bum-ass Lex Luger music for the promo video for it. If you were wondering what that background music was, that was the Lex Luger entrance music in WCW. And I just, ugh. Want the pack for the ring, Mr. Perfect and Buddha? Hey. I wonder if it's included with my deluxe edition. I think it will be. We'll have to see here because. Oh, and I did get it clarified. 2K25 should be out before the end of March. So we're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do about season 4, season 5. I love how they use Rush's music and it just fits perfectly there. Is the rig free? I think it's all part of the package, Eric. If you bought the deluxe edition, the one with Rhea and Bianca on the cover, if you bought a physical copy, I think it might be included. If not, you're probably going to have to buy the whole pack, or it might be where you just have to spend like whatever credits to get the ring, just like the other ones. Beast, you don't ask the Beast stuff when he's ready to clock you in the head. The build seems slow. Well, Jay Quick, I agree and I disagree in certain ways. The most obvious agreement that I have with you right now, if you remember the amount of oh, they're moved over to TBS next week. Okay. Compared to what we've had for the last 2 months, yes, it has been slow. It's been absolutely pathetic. But if realistically, I don't mind this slower build, how things build up, how things are getting a little bit put together here right now. Eric, I wish they added the WCW Saturday night. Isn't it the Saturday night ring that they're putting together for this? But unless you talk about the one that's spinning, that would be hilarious if they could do that. The one that they used at Universal Studios, they actually had it, wrestlers would actually wrestle on a spinning ring. Which really doesn't matter a whole lot once you get going. Your feeling is just the same. Beast is like, do I want to hit him? Do I not want to hit him? Do I want to hit him? Do I not want to hit him? But I want to see what it looks like before I pass judgment on it. And yeah, that package is going to be coming out quick, and I really do hope now that the TV deal's out of the way, that TK's marketing department can work a little bit more towards a video game. Because frankly, Ukes apparently was absolutely horrible to work with, which it showed in what the game became. Which I'll tell you, Retromania Wrestling is a little bit more my jam compared to the other ones, right? If you guys haven't heard of it, it's been basically a successor to WrestleFest with a lot of current characters. And if you are interested in playing a game like Retromania Wrestling, if you make a donation to the Chris Bay Recovery Fund, the GoFundMe, if you send a screenshot of the donation to Retrosoft Studios, the guys who made Retromania Wrestling, they will send you a free Steam key for the game. Since Chris Bay is a playable character in that, it's their first DLC was Chris Bay. If I do remember right, it was Chris Bay and Mr. Hughes, or Chris Bay and James Storm, one or the other. So I find it ironic. This is one of the first times that want to see this wrestling code get. It's gonna be forever till they get that out. I'd like to see it finally released too, because we do have some local stars that are a part of that game as well. Like for example, if you guys look through our YouTube channel for some of our wrestling content, Chris Parrish is very prominent in it. Very, very prominent in that content. So, and he's scheduled to be in the game as well. So there's so much good wrestling, and there's so many good wrestling games out there now. There's a lot of bad ones too, but I'm looking forward to see what's coming up here in 2025 overall. Hell, I can't even wait. We're 2 weeks away from me being able to get a physical copy of the Marvel vs. Capcom collection. It's been out digitally for, well, almost 2 months now. Just over 2 months on Monday. 2 months on Tuesday, sorry. But then, but the physical copies aren't out till the 22nd, so I've been holding out on picking up my physical, picking up a Switch and a PS4 copy until it comes out physically, so. I'm just a physical guy. What can I say? Sorry, I wanted to get everybody a good laugh, but I have to ask, what is your favorite wrestling game? Period. Do we want to go back to the WrestleFest? Do we want to go to Wrestling Superstars? The predator to that. SmackDown versus Raw. Raw is War. Or do you go with any of the other simulation games? WCW versus NWO Revenge. Absolutely, that is a great one. No Mercy and Here Comes the Pain. Yeah, another two great ones. Big thing for me is the fact that, as the show comes back on, the WWF SmackDown 2 on PS1 was good. Absolutely. I actually have Day of Reckoning 2 is probably my oldest game that I have physically here for the GameCube. I wouldn't mind the story of that up until there's a SummerSlam 4-way that you have to do. And unless your character has a Stone Cold Stunner, you cannot win that. And it literally just hooks you up on that spot. And for those that see me yawning all the time, first of all, I apologize. But second of all, it's actually asthma. It's not me being overly tired. Oh, is a sick kick going to be enough? Nope. Revenge was going to have that as well. Hey, you know what? I really appreciate a lot of these the SmackDown games, the Raw games. The 2K games, they've been getting worse as you go along, but I'll say this, 24 has been a hell of a lot of fun. There are a few things I'd like to fix on that, but and hopefully eventually they can figure out where the WCW Mayhem, basically the big four, right? You got Mayhem, you got Revenge, you got World Tour. Has anybody here played the TNA game? That game was... Ooh. The story of that was okay, just very repetitive. What'd you think of it, Jay Quick, in terms of the gameplay? I found it was okay. I like the fact that they had the six-sided ring in there. Gameplay was meh. Yeah, I understand that. And the bell ringer almost loses a bit. Eric, that is the biggest understatement that I've seen in a while, but I agree with you. Oh, God. Archer shows up out of nowhere. If you guys were around on Wednesday, Maxwell Jacob Freeman paid Don Callis to get the Callis family to take out Roderick and Adam Cole. So they can't get their 3 wins before Full Gear. Because if both of them can get wins, that means they can face MJF. This makes it obvious to me what we're going to be doing here. I'll get back to 2K20 in a second, but what they're going to do is they're not going to get neither one of us is going to get a third victory right now because of interference due to Archer and Cage, to eventually where Roderick and Cole are going to have to team up against Archer and Cage for that last win. If they win that tag match, they both win. Wow. Okay. Someone turned a hose on Nigel for with Mariah wearing that outfit. Agreed. Just wait. We'll get to that. Okay. Wow. Really? Wednesday. Wait, have they actually? We just had this stipulation with Private Party, with the fact they had to break up if they lost. Do they have lightning strike twice here? Because they could also go the Cody way, and this type of match signalized one of two things to me. One, Tony Storm's coming back soon, because that title is not going to stay on Mariah that much longer. Or two, Mina's going to screw Mariah out of that title. And then that's where that feud's going to go. Because you notice how Anna Jay worded, she'll never challenge Mariah for the title again. Which, frankly, after 2 rematches, you shouldn't have that again. Unless you're in 2K24 my GM mode, and then you just have to wait 5 weeks and the rivalry gets restored.
You told some of the biggest lies that I've ever heard of in my whole life.
Just leave it right there. But, yeah, I do hate this stipulation because 9 times out of 10 it signals a title change. However, in AEW, it has been a bit of a maybe not in this case. Or if you play the TNA game, you never know who's champion because they don't have belts in that game.
I hate you. I hate your guts.
To the TNA game. Well, at least, it's compared to the WWE 2K20 game where half the time you couldn't find your character. Or half the time you're in an online match that crashes. I'll never forget when the Monster Pro Wrestling guys here locally, they actually set up their own wrestling league that they hosted over 5 Twitch channels. So you had to get the multi-viewer to watch them all. And yeah, it was just, they used Discord as the audio for it and all that. But half their matches, they wouldn't be able to play because it shut them down right away. Be something really cool to get into if I could, maybe with 25. But no, the biggest thing I want to see in WWE 2K25 is a online GM mode. So, like for example, I know Zodiac, you've been playing it quite a bit here on the side. I'd love to be able to log in, have you join my game, and we each host a brand. Will 2K25 be on PS4? I don't think so. I think they're starting to wean out the last generation. I'm not 100% sure. Take-Two hasn't said anything. Well, this ain't gonna last long because we have it already in the ring. You think Mina cost Mariah the title on Wednesday? I wouldn't be surprised. Like I know we just talked about it. I would not surprise me one bit. They should get rid of the PS4 version. Loading's horrible. Yeah, like NBA 2K25 on PS4. Yes, I think fiscal 2020. Oh, that name sounds familiar. It's Saturday night. Yep. No, there's a lot of games that are getting away from the last gen. Big one for me is MLB The Show. Apparently is going to be new generation exclusive. Oh, by the way, I picked up 2K25 NBA 2K25 on my PS5 yesterday because since I'm a PS Plus subscriber, they have a dirt cheap deal on it right now till tomorrow. $40 American or 51 Canadian. So, my God, I was just trying to watch the match and all of a sudden it's over. Statlander will get paid by the hour, right? Monet's got the damn... I love how they don't want to call it the bank statement. And I'm very thankful that Mercedes got away from that gory special finisher that just didn't look good. I don't remember exactly what they got it called. But I do remember them saying Excalibur calling it something. I just can't remember what they called it. Can't call it the bank statement because that's probably patented. Oh, God. No nuts here. What do you think of What do you think of Jake Roberts' cadence doing a promo like that? Because if you don't remember, Jake Roberts was very quiet when he was doing his promos. So then you'd have to get real close to the mic, wherever your headset is or your TV. You'd have to lean in real close to do it. So are we getting like an impromptu match? I don't see him on the list. He's not even listed as he's not listed on anything here, so oh, it might have been a late edition. Oh, okay, Action Andretti. I remember hearing about this. All right, so I just looked it up. I find this hilarious. Tony Storm did the same thing too. Tony Storm originally had her Storm Zero being a basically the equivalent to the Riptide, or somewhat version of like a pump handle pickup and slam. Well, Mercedes called that Gory Buster into a slide out the moneymaker. The backstabber into the crossface is also called the bank statement, or the moneymaker, sorry. So couldn't even get inventive enough to create their own name for the move. They just had to keep the same one. There isn't a full arena there, but a good audience for a wrestling promotion that's supposedly... I know we were talking about this, sir. By the way, good to see you here, RK, tonight. And something that was brought up earlier, that I brought up, actually. The fact that NXT actually beat out AEW for the title of most fans watching. Or the ratings, as the cool kids would call it. God, my brain's off tonight. As long as there's enough fans to justify being there, I don't mind it one way or the other. Straight up. I'd rather just have a good card with a good crowd. It's funny. Now it brings me back to my original point back when I was talking about listening to Busted Open. And they were asking all these fans, why aren't they getting as many fans as they were in like 2021, 2022? And nobody would bring it up. During the pandemic, what was available to watch? A little bit of wrestling, football on Sundays. Wrestling was the constant that was there every week. But everything else was just, in terms of sports, was highly limited. Those ratings numbers are so close that nobody can tell me who really had more viewers in reality. That's fair. And I don't think it really matters as long as it's a good show. But getting back to Eric's point there, Jake the Snake versus the Warrior never happened. I don't think it ever... Because that actually was supposed to lead to... I think it was supposed to lead to Taker and Warrior. I'm trying to remember that feud because that was a hell of a feud. Like the whole Warrior learning all the tricks from the Snake Man and then getting caught in the snake pit. That's one of the few times that wrestling gave me the true heebie-jeebies. Is when Warrior got caught in that snake pit and got overran by those snakes, and Jake's just laughing at the end of it. But yeah, Jake Roberts, if he would have been able to stay a little bit of a cleaner life, I think may have been considered one of the greatest ever in many ways. Inventing one of the most prolific moves in wrestling history. Not only prolific, but being able to use in the DDT. I personally think that's... I think he's considered in one of those second-tier level stars. Like, he's not the complete, gonna remember forever, but he's just below that. And I'm not talking about to guys like us, guys and girls like us. Because let's face it, most of us here know a lot about wrestling as we go along. If not, we try to learn about it as we go along. And I really do hope that this is a community where everybody feels comfortable to be able to express and let us talk about wrestling without, fear of being ridiculed or not knowing, or hell, there's been many times where I've forgotten stuff and you guys have corrected me as it's gone on. And I'm very thankful for all of you for helping me out. Because Lord knows I need all the help I can get. I don't even know if that's the right one. I don't know, maybe this one. I have all these different... Jake was also not physically good either. That contributed to his problems, just like it did in those others. Yeah, that's fair. The fact that he was just a guy. But he's one of those guys that how Cody Rhodes was talking about how you need to be a body guy to be in wrestling. Jake proved you didn't really have to be. You had to be in shape, but you didn't have to be a body guy per se. In this world of beefcakes, and even the Honky Tonk Man was in some decent shape. Randy Savage, Ricky Steamboat, Greg Valentine, all your great wrestlers had a certain level of physique to them, and Jake never looked like that. Even as dumb as Jim Duggan looked, he still looked like a brick shithouse. Listen to the Snake Pit podcast, gives you an idea what he's dealing with. Yeah. Yeah, that Warrior story about how he got fired. He basically wanted more money. Vince told him to stuff it. But it was the day before a pay-per-view, so he worked the match with Hogan against Slaughter, Mustafa, and Adnan. They got literally sent out the door as soon as the match ended. I think Cody was pouring more, you're paying your hardware buddy, say what you want. Thought he was saying to be a keyboard. No, Cody. I think Cody was just trying to play. Cody doesn't hide his opinions on a lot of things, too, so. I think he was just trying to say, make it look like it's actually worthwhile for the fans to see you. Actually, I had Jenny pop it in there. I think Cody would be a great... Absolutely he would. But originally he said he wouldn't because he didn't want his daughter to see him as a heel in his early years. I think eventually it's coming. Once she's old enough to understand the idea that he's playing a part rather than actually being a guy. Cody played a heel already, so he said since he's gone into AEW that he has no intentions of being one. And is that Jenny going to take this title? We'll flip back to the Cody stuff in a second here, but I want to ask you while we're going on here. What the hell is going to go on with this story with Jack Perry now that the Bucks have left? Does Andretti absolutely out? Right now it doesn't make any sense, yeah. You ever notice when a commentator says that'll do it, it never does it? Plus Okada, you don't need me, Jack? Yeah. Well, Okada, basically, he's got a tournament to prepare for here in just over 3 weeks. Because starting on the 26th, we got the 26th, we got the C2 starting up, right? Yeah, this is turning into an absolutely great match here. Need more non-finisher wins? Absolutely. There it is. Very good match here. And we're only an hour 10 into the show, folks. I think the Bucks come back when Omega comes back, which will be after January. Which almost makes me feel like they're going to do Orange Cassidy against Mox at Full Gear. And then they're going to do... Well, Perry was going to talk, but Garcia's got other ideas. I wonder if Garcia's ever going to sell those sweatshirts they got. Yeah, the Bucks are scheduled for that show, the same show Omega's going to be on. And one of the Death Riders is going to be there, and... Wow, this really biting at him. I'll get right there, Eric, on that. Wow, he called him out for the Raven effect. I got a feeling this is going to be a very fun match at Full Gear. Uh-huh. Alrighty. Cares about it? Maybe, you know. Yeah, no, that title ain't staying there long. Well, Nigel's put his money on Perry, so it's guaranteed that he ain't winning. So, Eric, you're asking, do you think AEW will do house shows in 2025? I think house shows are going down, period. Wait a sec. Hold on. Bell the brakes. Folks, let's did we see a live murder? Julia Hart's back. Julia Hart is back. They are building her up. Let's go. Let's freaking go. I am so excited. This isn't like a TNA murder. No. This is, well, you know what? Shooting an arrow through somebody's heart, you know, that AEW is getting a little bit more serious. This isn't like Eddie Kingston throwing Mickey James in front of a train. No, it's nothing like that. But the fact that they were running that as a dream, I have a very strong feeling. Here's my 16 levels of thinking right now. Mercedes versus Stat in Full Gear. Julia returns to screw Statlander out of the title. First feud with Statlander. Statlander has to work through that. Julia wins that. And we get our way. Julia gets to fight her way back to. You could do a face-face in a way. But we'll see what happens here. I get what you're saying, Eric. And that's where my booking might be a little bit off. More than once, someone appeared to die in TNA like a real thing. Yeah, that's fair. Like, how many times James Mitchell took care of somebody? That just... All I can say is about the James Mitchell stuff. You know how often I want to see it again?
Never!
Will that sum it up perfectly for you? Eric Young was stabbed. Johnny Bravo was... Yeah, Scott D'Amore had some great ideas. Scott D'Amore... Yeah, 2025 house shows. Even WWE has admitted they're cutting back on their house shows. House shows do not make money for anybody. And even now, like even on the indie scene, there's some promotions that, oh God. Attaboy Menard. Oh, AR Fox versus Nick Wade now, so we're going to have some fun with this one. But yeah, in terms of house shows, like, TKO's admitted they're losing money on them a little bit more, so they're not maximizing their profit, so they are cutting back on them a bit. AEW, for the most part, allows their talent to go to outside promotions pretty much on a free basis, as long as they're not on nights where they need to be working at AEW. TNA only works 3 days a year, or once every 3 months, right? I could never figure out Nick Wayne's music and Chris Statlander's music. Nick Wayne coming out to smooth jazz. All right. But no, just going back to my point about house shows, even independent promotions these days, AR Fox is said to hell with that BS. Independent promotions, if you're not running video at your shows, if you're not getting yourself out on the internet, if you're not a part of a streaming program, whether that be Fight TV or even YouTube, Independent Wrestling TV, I know that one of our promotions in town, Love Wrestling, is with IWTV. Top Talents with Fight TV right now. Or Trillers, sorry, I guess it's what it's called now. But you look at the other two promotions in town, I'd say one of them has absolutely an astounding level of talent. And yesterday, Real Canadian Wrestling here in town, they overfilled their building in terms of a tribute show to one of the wrestlers that passed away we talked about earlier. And the fact that they don't have video production there, it's a disservice to the wrestlers, it's a disservice to the promotion, and it's a disservice to the wrestling fan as well, because there's a lot of great stuff going on there. Special note, I used to be with them back circa 2018, 2016, and then 2018. So, and they just haven't been able to produce a good video, so people are not able to see the quality stuff. Oh, well, you'll see it live. You're not maximizing your total potential if you're not putting it on video. Straight up. Simply put, get out there, get yourself seen by as many eyeballs as you can, and that's the best way to grow. Because you never know when you're going to find 5 or 6 locals that are going to look on this, didn't know you existed, and then show up. And then you're going to have another 5 or 6 that didn't know, or 5 or 6 that found out from your friends. They're not, and it's just going to grow and grow and grow. And even if it's just an online community, it just grows and grows and grows, just like you guys being here. I appreciate each and every one of you being here. And the fact that, YouTube is starting to grow a little bit more for the live streams. Like Eric, I appreciate you chatting in the chat. And that's why I tell you guys, always hit that thumbs up button when you can. Subscribe if you can. The thumbs up especially. If you want to throw some comments in later, that's great when the video goes to VOD. Always appreciated, but unless you could grow yourself, you're not maximizing your potential. The old WWF done one taping once a month in the late 80s, the WWF Superstars Wrestling Challenge. Absolutely. And that was what AEW Dark was doing. And Dark Elevation. They would have, 17 matches on a pre-show? They would literally pump out 2 hours of just enhancement talent matches so everybody could get footage on these new people that were coming in against established stars, just like what WWF Superstars and Wrestling Challenge both were. Like up here in Canada, we actually had Maple Leaf Wrestling every Saturday with Billy Red Lions. I don't know if that name rings a bell to anybody. But it was basically a one host, many squashes with a mid-card Raw worthy main event. So that's how the tapings would turn out. But yeah, you would see for the most part, most places would get a bulk taping done. Hell, TNA does that. They tape 4 shows in the matter of 2 days over whatever they're set up. They do their PLE. I want to get that straight because, well, they got their network now. And then you have 2 days of tapings following it. Typically, that'll get you to the next one. So then your wrestlers can go pretty much wherever they want and get taping done, right? It's an ingenious move when you can do it. Hell, I want to even go back to the 70s and 80s, and especially growing up, the wrestling that I knew more than anything else was Stampede Wrestling. And they were literally taking cameras everywhere. Calgary, Edmonton, Saskatoon. Their 2 main tapings would be in Edmonton and Calgary. But they would always have matches available every week, 3 to 4 matches. There's no way Nick Wade's losing this match, is there? Seriously, we're not going to get to that point, are we? This is going to be crazy, this main event. I think it's going to be a non-finish, but it really wouldn't surprise me to be a non-finish. How long was the WWF TV tapings? They would be in the context of a regular show, so you're probably looking at, probably about a 3-hour show with an intermission in the middle. Just because that's where that was the style at the time, as they call it. You'll have 4 or 5 matches down one way and then 4 or 5 the other. Because you also got to remember, at that time, WWF only had 4 pay-per-views a year. Well, depending what was going on, up for most of the 80s, they only had, 1? Because WrestleMania started in 83, and then they didn't have anything else until Survivor Series. That was a nice cutter. Cradle powerbomb. AR Fox showing up here. Jack Perry beat Daniel Garcia because Jack Perry challenged on it. Yota Tsuji at Wrestle Dynasty in the Tokyo Dome. Logan, first of all, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. The other thing I can think of here, right now it's a title for title match, I do believe. If my brain is foggy, feel free to correct me. Oh no, that's the Takeshita match. It's title for title. My apologies. There is always a way that match could happen without having a title there. Miss Old School Wrestling banners. Hey, they are pretty cool when you can see them. Tony Khan's crazy enough to not have that title in that match, but still sent Daniel Garcia out for something else. But the fact that the booking is so confusing right now. The hell is that?
What the hell is that?
That was a butterfly destroyer? Is that what we're calling it now? A butterfly destroyer? I love it. I haven't seen it in I've never seen that before. They're calling it a code red? Well, Shivani's not the best with names anyway. Find it funny how they talk about Oh no. Canadian pedigree? Hey, I live with that. Ow. Ow. That's just gross. Need the story played out before complaining about I'm with you, RK. Like, it is fun to fantasy book. But at the same time, I'm always been a proponent if you have to, if all bets are off and you have to say something about something for sure, I've always believed in letting it play out, then critique the hell out of it. I just find it confused. I just personally find it confusing right now what they're doing on with Jack Perry. Especially now that the Bucks have disappeared. Oh, this is going to be epic. AEW loves the staple gun. It's so screwworthy. Absolutely. Jonathan Television. Oh my. As a person who has been involved in art in the past, don't tell me how to be creative. If you don't like it, fine, but do your own art then. Absolutely. Nice what? Nice hog. Nice hog. Apparently he has a pet pig. Oh God. TNT has just decided to let it out. Let out all the people complaining right now. No, he has a pet pig. He has a pet pig. That's the picture he sent. Maybe he's got some pork issues that he wants to. I'm just. Well, I'll just throw that out just for the hell of it. And then I will just.
No, please, no.
Just leave it at that. But yeah, as we're coming up to our main event here, as tradition, I am doing a run through of everything that we're going to be doing here for the next week. Next stream will be on Monday, exclusively on Twitch. Actually, before I get to that, just a reminder, after we're done here, and I'll send you guys the link over on the YouTube side. We are going to be on Twitch with my GM WWE 2K24 style as we get into week 12 of our run through. We're just out of the PLE. We had a great week last week. Now everybody's dead, so we got to recover. But I will be having Shayna Baszler versus Thea Hale in a match tonight. So that will be one of the matchups that we have. Next stream will be Monday, Veterans Day down in the States, Remembrance Day up in Canada. Sort of apropos that we will be starting the story mode of Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Haven't played one since Cold War. I played the story mode on that, really enjoyed it. We're going to start that up. From what I heard, it's about 6 hours long total in that range. So that's probably going to take us through the rest of November on Mondays. And then next Wednesday, both on YouTube and on Twitch, we'll be back for AEW Dynamite coming up this Wednesday, along with my GM mode after. And then this Thursday coming up will be the finale, I hope, of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. We've gotten everything basically put together that we need, and now we just have to take on the big baddie. Got a couple side missions we're going to do to start off the run. Just try to level us up the best we can, and then we are going to head over to take on the big baddie and finish things off that way. So make sure you stop by. But most importantly, more than anything else, thank you for being here. I truly do appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, please make sure you hit the thumbs up, hit subscribe, helps us out every little bit. And if you're on Twitch, make sure you hit the follow button to know anytime we go live. And if you really like what we're doing here, consider subscribing, whether you have your Prime membership or your hard-earned money. Every dime that comes into it just works to make things better here, so. Question, chat. What do you think of Claudio's music? This is Claudio's new entrance music here. He's been using it for a couple weeks. Da, 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 da. I find it interesting he has a list there, but... Pac doesn't even want to bother taking it off. All right, here we go. Conglomeration time. I am disappointed, though, we didn't get a promo tonight. Hey, Coach Larry, how you doing? Good to see you here, sir. As we are watching AEW Collision. Hope you're doing well, sir. Yep, still watch AEW. We're here every Wednesday and Saturday night for AEW Collision, AEW Dynamite. Looks like we're going to have a hell of a main event here with the Conglomeration versus the Death Riders. Larry, please be careful. We have a very good vibe here. Still watch AEW. I like it in spite of the whiners. I'm with you. I'm with you, RK. We actually enjoy good wrestling here, regardless of what brand. We've been talking WWE. We've been talking WWF. We've been talking a little bit of New Japan tonight in terms of the Resurgence card coming up. Tonight we had an excellent match with AR Fox and Nick Wayne. Pulled out basically the best way you can explain is a code red. They called it a code red, but it was more of a double underhook destroyer by Nick Wayne. Very fun match. Had the Outrunners end up qualifying for the tag team title match at Full Gear. Roderick Strong and the Beast Mortos have a absolute blast of a match. Roderick Strong gets victory there. House of Black walked all over the Iron Savages, to be expected, and got met with FTR. And Chris Statlander ended up getting hit with a moneymaker after she beat local competitor. And once again, our main event here. Kyle O'Reilly, Mark Briscoe, Tomohiro Ishii. That's fair. I know there's a couple storylines, like we said, we've actually talked about it today, where it got a little bit confused, like the Jack Perry one. But I'm more about, let's see what happens, then we can, and RK said it perfectly. Watch what happens, and then we can see if it's that bad. Because I'll say this again. Tony Khan, when it comes to long-term booking, he has produced some absolute doozies. And this right here, this trios match. Fair enough, Coach. You know, it's... Some people enjoy him, some people don't. And... Do I think he'll win the title? Probably not. Do I like the change in character that he's doing? Absolutely. He's not the same character that he was 2 years ago. He's actually getting serious now a little bit. That redneck kung fu is just hilarious when Briscoe gets it. Well, they're already pushing the tickets for All In. So yeah, they were talking about this week. They were talking about the Forbidden Door tickets for London are not going to be able to be available till about April this year because it's being held at the O2, and there's a little rule they have that if one promotion's showing up a show, you actually have to wait until that show's done before you could go into promoting another show. It's a little stupid, but... And WWE's doing their Road to WrestleMania tour through the O2. That's actually going to be the last stop in terms of for Monday Night Raw there. Like Orange Cassidy, but larger wrestling shows have something to... have to have something for everyone, otherwise you serve a small audience. Absolutely. So MJF, Moxley, Claudio, Britt, and the Hurt Syndicate? Yeah. There are a lot of great wrestlers that I think a lot of people forget that about how fabulous, how great the roster really is. Yes, the booking isn't perfect, but you know what? I would have killed for matches like this even 5 years ago. Wardlow's out injured right now. Hobbs just came off injury. He just came back as Ricochet's surprise partner on Wednesday. And Wardlow's still on injured reserve. I do believe it was a blown out knee. Knee or shoulder, one or the other. Missed 2021, 2022 AEW. There's a lot of factors between that. And in terms of the actual wrestling, I still find it on par with what you saw during that time. It's just you got a lot of problems with... Well, one of the big things, and we were talking about it earlier, the fact that the pandemic ended, it just changed people's views on things. The bar got a lot higher because there was a lot more product around. That also a lot of the luster and trying to recover from... I don't know what's different. In terms of the actual product, some of the long-term stories just seem to not be there. And I think it's like, we were talking about this in previous weeks. Think about Bryan Danielson right now and how everything got shoehorned in his final run. To winning at Wembley, to having the Derby match at Grand Slam changed to Nigel, to getting Mox there right away. You knew it was because Danielson was injured, so they had to move that timeline up. And they couldn't... It's been a real hard time with the Skippy booking they've had to do. Because I almost guarantee it would be another year that TK would have liked to use that Danielson story breathe a little bit more. Because I'm sure there's like 5 or 6 other opponents that he would love to use. Just to get Danielson to give them that extra shine, right? Like, you tell me that Danielson and Darby wouldn't have been an absolute banger. I still think Darby would have lost, but I think it still would have been a great match. And hell, you know that AEW is famous for having people run the gauntlet. And the fact that they didn't get a chance to go through Pac versus Danielson. They never... Larry, that's one thing we talk about. And make this very clear. I don't think AEW was competing with WWE. I don't think they were competing with NXT. And I don't consider them lost. I don't think I think the standards are way different, especially nowadays. Now that TV is now such an X factor. A lot of people, and I think this is more of a North American mentality versus around the world. Good enough sometimes, good enough sometimes is good enough. But yeah, there's been a lot of storylines that we could have gone through here and probably could have expanded, probably could have taken longer, probably could have moved up. That's the thing. People don't see what TK has to deal with behind the scenes, yet they claim things about what behind the scenes that are not. Absolutely. It's why, outside of reading SRS, I really don't do a whole lot of that stuff. That's a big thing for me. Like, and it also comes into my experience of being a color commentator. I know stuff's already happening. I already know that, X and Y is going to happen for the night. Make me entertained to see it happen. Yeah, we were talking all about it during the break there, Larry. You just literally got to... Another big thing is a lot of people don't see the stories that AEW has because they're not really watching... I don't want to say religiously, but they are more... They're more focused, I think is a better way to put it. Well, Larry, I don't know what to tell you, my friend. If it's tough for you to watch, then... Because we're all enjoying this, and we'll enjoy most of it. It's been actually a very decent product. That's what... And we're having a hell of a main event here right now. And Adam Page has probably got one of the top... I would say probably one of the best characters developed in 2024 here in AEW. Chat, you can help me out with that as well. All right, Larry. Well, that's your choice. So I don't know what else to tell you there. Do you think AEW Collision is like a WCW Saturday night? No. I think it was. I don't think... I think that... I think up until the last few weeks, you very well could list a case for that. But now... I think there's a lot more stories going through Collision than would be on a traditional Saturday night. Because a lot of Saturday nights were more superstars kind of things where the first half of the card, first 3 quarters of the card, you really didn't have a lot of storylines involved. Then you have those last 1 or 2 or 3 matches in the last half hour that actually had story built behind it.
One more for the good guys.
Well, thank you for the follow, Larry. Appreciate you. And yeah, like you said, I understand that you're not the biggest fan of AEW, but at the same time, if you can sit down and watch it, I find the product's absolutely great to me. I honestly don't understand how people can't see stories unless people nowadays are so short in attention they get blind to it. Yeah. Do I do WWE watch-alongs? No, I personally don't have the time to do that. I just don't have the... Monday nights we're doing I just mentioned it earlier. Monday nights after Raw we'll be doing Call of Duty. This Thursday we're finishing up Echoes of Wisdom during the day. And then I'm here for Dynamite and Collision. I have nothing wrong with the WWE product. I think it was great. Larry, if you're gonna judge everything you see based on ticket sales, then you really haven't watched a lot of indies. Because there are a lot of great matches out there that, you know. And things being down, people only have X amount of money to do stuff. And yes, WWE has 50 years advantage. When you've had 50 years advantage to building up your product, you're going to be number one. Unless you find a way to royally screw it up. And the fact they got rid of Vince basically fixed that hole in the dike, basically, is the best way to put it. And I'm talking about boats here. Let's get that straight. So yeah, in terms of ticket sales, yeah, you saw when Vince left how things changed. Just there's more things than viewership and ticket sales indicates. Great wrestlers. Attendance numbers weren't that far down before, Larry, so I do think it's very tribalistic to think otherwise. When you have certain people coming out and saying that X and Y are not... Yeah, I buy tickets to AEW when they're in town. If you're having so-called experts that are judging your point of view and telling you that X and Y product is... Oh, here comes Mox. Told you Mox would show up. I just think when the Young Bucks showed the backstage... You can have your opinion, Larry. I don't know what else to say to you. I'm not here to judge why somebody thinks that AEW is such a terrible product or why it's going downhill. Because I don't think it is. And I can't fight you on that anymore. All right, let's throw everybody out here. So Moxley was looking to come out. Now all of a sudden Orange is here to block it. You know that the people on X are the hardest against AEW or the WWE stockholders. I don't even want to get into that. So we're not... So we got a stare off between the opponent. Oh. I'm with you. Like, this might be it. Well, this Pac can get up. Ha! Yuna's gonna tap out, isn't he? Oh, and there you go. Push him right back to the middle. Is Yuta going to tap out? Are we going to get new champs? I would love to see this right now. All right, hit the wrong man. And it's Shafir, okay. Always the numbers game. See, nights like this is where you... This is where you set up this is where you set up a situation where the numbers have to be reversed somehow. Shafir, they're going to have to find somebody to be a difference maker for Shafir. Because that's the biggest issue right now. I love this match. Zodiac, thank you for focusing us back in here. Wheeler budged. All right, Larry, have yourself a good night. All right, we're going to end on a pull apart. I love it. Oh, this is absolutely insane. We need war games. That's what we need. But we can't have blood and guts because they set it up for one time a year. Wish they could find a way to fix that, but maybe they bring it up again. Just, maybe on Collision on November 30th. Stadium Stampede? Maybe. Punk demonstrated lack of self-control at AEW more than once. You're going to be accurate about stuff? Absolutely. And Claudio just hurt himself. This is not good. Claudio's injured. All right, so they're going to be at Bridgeport. That's FTR versus House of Black. Well, Moxley's going to be there. Is that all they're advertising right now? I got to say, this has been a hell of a night of wrestling. Really enjoyed it. As we fade to black and go to a movie now. Yeah, no, it was an absolutely awesome night of wrestling here. Minus a little bit of consternation there near the end, which, unfortunately, different people have different ideas, and I do like to express. I allow ideas to be expressed to a certain point. So, love how they're building Orange. I love how there are so many of these feuds that, and I believe, Jay Quick, you're the one that just felt it was weird. Everything was going so slow. And I love this pace. I love how it's a slow burn. I love how, to Zodiac's point here, it's like we're learning that Orange is slowly getting into that serious point that they have, right? There should be a review on how the Pillars are doing. Well, let's see now. TNT Champion. ROH Tag Champion. Biggest heel in the company. And it's probably second in line for the AEW title. After Orange. Because I'll almost guarantee after Orange goes through it, it's going to be It's going to be Darby in the next spot, right? So people want to shoot down AEW as constructive criticism, but they should be able to receive. Oh, I completely agree. I completely agree in and that's one thing. I don't mind the debate. I don't mind chatting about wrestling once again. Like we're having a great time talking about it. And yeah, I think Sammy has kind of dropped off though, not gonna lie. Sammy, between getting injured, getting suspended, getting all the stuff that's happened to him, yeah, I could say. And here's the other thing. If he becomes a focal point of Shockwave that comes out next year, like as of right now, it seems like ROH is getting their TV show, and nobody's mentioning anything about Shockwave quite yet. But could it be ROH Shockwave? Maybe. That's how we can discuss another time here, but yeah, no, I just want to pop into a conversation we were having on Discord earlier today. Retro Hangover Discord, by the way, if you're not familiar, get familiar because it's one of the more fun ones. And if you guys haven't checked, I am starting to slowly, like I'm still on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. However, I am starting to try to move a little bit more over to Blue Sky myself, just because it is shitter. Let's just call it straight up. It is shitter. It is very tribalistic, very... Rather than debate subjects, it's more about, I'm going to tell you how this subject's going to run versus giving different points of view and actually discussing like human beings. And one thing I love about Blue Sky earlier, when was it? Yesterday. WrestleVotes actually put up their post about the ratings and the viewership for both shows, NXT and Dynamite. They got roasted on Blue Sky because literally one of the rules is in the wrestling forums, you do not talk about numbers like that because nobody cares. I find Reddit tribal. Everything has a certain level of tribalism to it. I find that, as long as you can cater your information to a certain audience with a certain amount, it does turn out to be a little bit easier. So, and also, you do weed out some people that don't feel comfortable doing stuff. But yeah, getting back to the show, which, I'm not usually the guy that does that. So let's, diverges off the show that much. Main event went well. Outrunners getting a shot at the tag titles at Full Gear. That's a big win for me. AR Fox, Nick Wayne finishing off that story with AR Fox from last year and coming up with a brand new move. In this day and age of wrestling, how often is it that you find people that come out with new moves? And Nick Wayne pulled one out here. Roderick Strong beats Mortos. Still playing off that story of, is Mortos going to stay with LFI or not? Which it's going to be big next week because LFI have the Acclaimed for a shot at that four-way coming up at Full Gear. House of Black dominating over the Iron Savages, going face-to-face with FTR. And it seems like House of Black are pretty much turned into baby faces at this point. Mariah May almost giving Nigel McGuinness a heart attack. By the way, for the record, today is 1 year since Mariah May got her All Elite graphic. Till she was officially a member of the AEW roster. 1 year. And she's turned into one of the biggest storylines in AEW, period. That should tell you something about the character and what she's got going on. So, heard from Leo Rush, who is taking on Swerve on Wednesday. Good luck to you, my friend. You're going to need it. And then Anna Jay is putting her ability to challenge for the title on the line against Mariah next Wednesday. So that'll be interesting to say the least. Because I don't know how much Tony Khan wants to use that stipulation and run it out the way that it is. And then, of course, I would say one of the bigger surprises tonight, Julia Hart is back. They are starting to promo her back. So you got Julia Hart and you got Toni Storm. Those are the two big ones that you're waiting to come back. It's been announced that Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, will be on the show on Wednesday as well. So, yeah, we're looking to a hell of a fun Dynamite coming up on Wednesday. So, but with that being said, I think that's going to wrap up tonight's AEW Collision. I want to thank everybody for stopping by, both on YouTube and on Twitch. For those on Twitch, just hang on. We're going to go to a break and then get into WWE 2K24. For all of you on YouTube, make sure you hit the thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, please hit that subscribe button. And most importantly, thank you for being here. There's been a consistent flow in the YouTube stream all night. I know the numbers haven't been the highest in YouTube yet, but we are starting this out. It is early, and I'm glad you guys are checking things out with us. If you want to see something that improved in the stream, please let me know, and we'll endeavor to work something out and try to tweak things up and make things a little better here. But for those on YouTube, we are going to be signing out here. Join us over on Twitch, twitch.tv/MikeTheRef for WWE 2K24. But with that being said, thank you for being here, and we will see you all here on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. So take care, everybody, and we will see you soon.